Hello, everyone, and welcome to Walking Through the Bible. If there is one thing that can be said about Job, is that he was a man of conviction. His friends in 7 speeches thus far have called him a sinner. In fact, Eliphaz in his latest speech called him a grievous sinner, neglecting those in desperate need, though without proof. Job here in his 7th reply is going to maintain that he is righteous. Let's see how he does this time. If you have a Bible with you, you can turn to Job chapter 23. We're going to be reading from verses 1 to 17. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry, just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Job chapter 23, beginning at verse 1. Then Job answered and said, "Even today my complaint is bitter. My hand is listless because of my groaning. Oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might come to his seat. I would present my case before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would know the words which he would answer me and understand what he would say to me. Would he contend with me in his great power? No, but he would take note of me. There the upright could reason with him, and I would be delivered forever from my judge. Look, I go forward, but he is not there, and backward, but I cannot perceive him. When he works on the left hand, I cannot behold him. When he turns to the right hand, I cannot see him. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. My foot has held fast to his steps. I have kept his way and not turned aside. I have not departed from the commandment of his lips. I have treasured the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. But he is unique, and who can make him change? And whatever his soul desires, that he does. For he performs what is appointed for me, and many such things are with him. Therefore I am terrified at his presence. When I consider this, I am afraid of him. For God made my heart weak, and the Almighty terrifies me, because I was not cut off from the presence of darkness, and he did not hide deep darkness from my face." We have heard most of what Job has said before, but there comes a point in time when you run out of new things to say, so you simply repeat what you've already said. Job's friends really haven't changed their arguments, just repackaged them, so why are we expecting any different from Job? Job, first of all, justifies his complaints because of the bitterness of his soul and the anguish he is in. Of course, blaming God for his troubles was not right, but we can understand his general complaining for sure, for who among us hasn't complained when we're in pain? It's when we lash out and blame God that we cross the line and get ourselves into trouble. However, Job still hasn't lost his faith in God. He complains that he looks for God, but cannot find him. He goes forward, but God is not there. He goes backward, but cannot perceive God. When he, meaning God, works on the left hand, Job cannot behold him, and when God turns to the right hand, Job cannot see him. Now you would think that this would make Job an atheist, for that's the very argument an atheist makes for his unbelief. For surely if God existed, he would appear to us and make himself known to us. As if the beauty and wonders of his creation aren't enough for us to know his existence. As if we cannot perceive his mercy and grace constantly in what happens in our lives. As if we cannot know that we're being punished for the sins we commit and not by our government and authorities. And as if God didn't appear to us in human form in the person of Jesus Christ. It's true that God didn't appear to Job like he appeared to Abraham or Moses. He didn't walk with Job like he did with Enoch or talk to Job like he did with Noah. But for Job to say that he could never perceive God, how can this possibly be, considering what he is doing in the first chapter? He was blessed beyond imagination and didn't think that this came simply from himself, but worshiped and thanked God for it. Are you telling me that even though Job may not have perceived God with his senses, that he didn't have faith that God was there? I think not, and I don't believe that's what Job means. However, it sounds like that's what he means. And yet, through all of that, Job didn't lose his faith in God. He was certain that if he had an audience with God, Job would present his case before God, and God would declare him righteous, for Job walked according to all of God's ways. And because of that, God is allowed to do with Job as he pleases. Who can make him change? Whatever God desires to do, that he does. Whatever God has appointed for Job, God is able to do those things, and such needs to be left to him. Job's only desire is that he be cut off from his suffering, and complains that he wasn't, for it is for that reason that the Almighty terrifies him. In what Job says here, we need to admit God can do. God will accomplish his purpose in us, though won't override our free will to do it, nor will he play favorites. God's mind cannot be changed once his decision is made, but that's not to say that our prayers have no effect on him. For we read that the prayer of Moses did in Exodus 32, and Jesus taught to be persistent in prayer in Luke 18, for the Lord of heaven and earth will answer them according to his will. God knows all, he sees all, and he is able to act according to his purpose. Let's live in such a way that we can be used to accomplish his purpose for good. Let us fulfill the will of God today and be saved. We'll continue with Job's speech, the Lord willing, in the next lesson. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Job chapter 24, verses 1 to 17, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. We thank you for watching Walking Through the Bible today. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. But if you like this video, we ask that you consider subscribing to our channel so you won't miss out on other videos in our series, as well as share this video among your friends so that the saving message of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.